15 rushing touchdowns last year. Instead, he gives it to his running back. And Barkley fights! Touchdown!
So we finally got to see the new look Philadelphia Eagles on the field for the first time this season, all the way over in Brazil. And I have mixed emotions over this win. At times they showed complete dominance, and Saquon Barkley looked even better than we've ever seen him before. But Jalen Hurts made a few stupid mistakes, and there were quite a few things to clean up. But at the end of the day, a win is a win, especially in week 1. So I'm going to break down everything that went down. But before I begin, I would really appreciate it if you would drop a like and subscribe. It only takes 5 seconds, plus you can always change your mind. We are on the road to 40k subscribers, and with your support, I believe we can get there super fast. Alright, so the Eagles lost the turnover battle 3-1. They had a sluggish start, but they came away with the 34-29 win. Another thing that was weird about this game was the field conditions. Players were slipping everywhere, and to me, it had a significant impact on the game. There were multiple instances where big plays happened due to a defender or receiver slipping. But yeah, the star of the show was Saquon Barkley. I mean, to get a hat trick in your first game on a new team is something. And I know Giants fans were dying 1,000 deaths watching it. I liked the balance I was seeing in the Eagles offense because majority of the game was through Hurts and the receiving unit. And it almost felt like Saquon was just an added bonus to keep the Packers defense on their heels. We saw 4 or 5 straight drives where the Eagles were able to put points on the board. The Eagles have a high floor rushing attack. The offensive line, the schemes that they use up front, you know what to expect from the run game. Before I get into the nitty gritty and talk about both the ups and downs from this game, I just want to apologize if some of my talking isn't synced up with all the in-game clips. I'm going to try my best to show as much as I can, but I'm sure you all know how brutal YouTube copyright can be sometimes. One thing I think we realized from this game is how much turnovers will hurt you. The Eagles have to be more clean as they move forward into the season. One thing that was weird was that last drive, when they went away from Saquon and ran 4 plays in a row from an empty set. That's one thing I just never understand from just sports in general. When somebody has a hot hand, why would you go away from him? But yeah, those 2 picks were so tough, especially the second one. If you're Jalen Hurts, you can't throw across your body to the end zone in that situation. I know AJ Brown slipped, there were a few outside factors that nobody is talking about, but the Eagles should have played things safe on that drive because even just a field goal would have put them up by 8. I know I'm just a fan, it's easy to nitpick and be a couch coach, but sometimes in college and the NFL, it baffles me how bad people are at game and clock management. I mean, I just remember watching the NFC Championship last year when the Lions practically had the game won math-wise, but over the course of the second half, they managed to do just about everything wrong and slowly watched the game get away from them in unbelievable fashion. But getting back on track, one bright spot I took away from this game in terms of Jalen Hurts was his ability to make throws while being blitzed on. There were a number of times in this game where he was able to make throws on time and on target while being blitzed. And he also used his legs to make plays while trying to avoid pressure as well. The ball was coming out of his hands pretty fast and in a rhythm. The 20-yarder to AJ Brown really stood out to me. When he hit the top of his drop, despite the rusher about to hit him, he made a great throw to Brown, who made a great move to get the big gain. It is not easy to make good throws when you know you're about to get lit up. For the Eagles to play how they did early on and still be in the game scoreboard-wise, it almost made you feel good if you were an Eagles fan, because it felt like they had no identity, but then you looked up at the scoreboard and they were only down 6 with the ball. As for the defense, for the most part, I liked what I saw, because I was very interested in how some of the new players would play in a real game-like situation. We saw Zach Bond, who has not played middle linebacker in the NFL. He was flying around, stopping some runs. He did okay in coverage. He had 15 tackles and 2 sacks. I think he really fired up the coaching staff. Another player who had a really solid game that I talked about all offseason was Nakobe Dean. He nearly had a pick 6. He completely read and jumped the coverage, but even outside of that, he blew up a running back on a screenplay. He made numerous plays behind the line of scrimmage and some of those gap speed downhill runs. I thought it was a great game by Dean. And for the defense as a whole, there were some missed tackles, but the guys were rallying to the ball and the effort was most definitely there. But one thing I was hoping to see more was the pass rush. I'm not hitting the panic button. The unit will get things figured out. I spent a lot of this offseason talking about how good the defensive line was going to be, but there were numerous plays where Jordan Love had all day to throw back there. But I think we need to give some credit to the Packers offensive line as well. In terms of the title of this video, why I think the Eagles showed the NFL exactly what they feared, I think a lot of teams were watching this game and they saw the sluggish start the Eagles had and how they were still able to bounce back and put up 34 points. But once this offense figures things out, you got 2 guys in the backfield that squat over 500 pounds. You got AJ Brown, who really never gets enough credit in terms of national media. He is an absolute freak, and you know Devante Smith is going to have a few games this season where he steals the show. And when you put it all together, I think this is going to be a top 3 to top 5 offense in the league. And then if the Eagles can put it together with that defense and get the pass rush going, then look out. I know Nick Sirianni has taken a lot of heat over the last couple of years. He is the only active head coach to stay with a team for 3 straight seasons with a completely new set of coordinators for everyone. But one thing he is good at is getting who he wants beside him. That first Super Bowl season, he lost his coordinators because they were too good and ended up getting head coaching jobs. And then last year was a rough year, but this year again, he made 2 home run hires. And because of it, he is able to just focus on head coaching duties and keeping everyone motivated and on track instead of having to always worry about the offense and defense. He really trusts in his coordinator's ability to run things by themselves. But as I was talking about, the one thing the coaching staff will have to improve on moving forward is the in-game decision making. I just didn't understand keeping the ball out of Barkley's hands there late in the game, and on a selfish matter, I really wanted to see him punch in that 4th touchdown just to see Giants fans' reactions. Looking ahead, the Eagles have the Falcons next week, and this may seem like an easy game, but many people have Atlanta taking their division this year. It seems like everything is starting to come together over there, and they are no longer going to be a team you can just push over. But this is a great opportunity indoors to clean up some of the mistakes that we saw in the Brazil game and build off what they did well. Because if you start the season off 2-0, that will set you up in a pretty good spot for the remainder of the season. Here's what some of the players and the media had to say following this win.
Amazing. So thankful for the NFL. So thankful for everyone in Brazil. It was super fun. The energy was amazing, and I couldn't picture anywhere better than that. So it was a big play, and got my feet down.
Why was he so effective in his much ballyhooed Philly debut?
Well, I thought they did a nice job of not only running with him, but also throwing him the football. And this is who he is. I mean, he's in an offense now where he has other players around him, so everyone can't key just on him, right? They have a good receiving core, they have a good tight end.
That's really all I got for this one. Thank you all so much if you made it to this point, and if you enjoyed and haven't yet, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe because your support truly does mean the world. And also, let me know what you thought about this game and what you would like to see next. And until then, I will see you all later.